All right, hi everyone. I'm Richard Santos with the Land and Living team at Keller Williams Upstate New York Properties. Today I'm taking a quick recon hike of this 2.6 acre parcel on East River Road in Andes, New York. All right, we're just a couple hundred yards off of Route 30 on the State Road 8 here, and then here's our right-of-way entry up into the property. So just real quick, this will cut up here and then it'll switch back. And then our 2 acres is actually going to end up being just a little bit uphill up here. So this right-of-way is actually crossing through New York City DEP-owned land, which is kind of cool and unique. And also, I mean, you can see the reservoir is literally just down below us. There's the informational booth right over there, and then there's multiple. The Shavertown Bridge is right here with the... We're close to Little Pond and Big Pond in Andes. There's multiple of the reservoir boat docking stations where you can steam clean and then keep your non-motorized boat there for the season. This one is super cool. I am just now on the right-of-way access into the property. What you end up with is at the edge of this right-of-way road, there is a nice level section where there's a kind of a parking pad, and then it opens up into this little, just a rectangle up in the woods, and it'd be a great spot for a recreational getaway, possibly put a tenting platform up there, or play around in the woods with, would be a great hunting destination. And then we're just off of, you can't see through the trees here, but we're just off of the Shavertown Bridge, State Highway 30. We're close to Little Pond and Big Pond in Andes. We're nearby to the town of Andes, the town of Margaretville, nice local towns like Delhi and Walton. And you go a little bit further west, you're taking yourself on to Deposit and Hancock and down to the proper East Branch, Delaware. This is the Pepacton Reservoir that's just through the trees in front of us. We've got multiple of the non-motorized, steam-cleaned boat sites where people can keep their non-motorized boats so that they can go and recreate and fish on the water. And this would just be a fantastic spot for a getaway. I can't tell you how much joy I have right now. So this is the moment we've been waiting for. That is the official survey pin and circle of stones. Now I am in the official southeast corner of the property. The neighbor to the east knows what's going on. They have posted signs on their lot. There's older orange posted signs a little further inset, but critical thing here is that just behind this fallen log is an old barbed wire fence. And on the survey that I pulled right here, you can see that the corner that I'm looking for has a barbed wire fence in it. I have a terrible videography, but that's what I've been following to try to figure this out. So I used experience and ingenuity and intuition to continue, because by the way, this is way not the way OnX shows it. So if you're using a hunting app or something, this is where those things will get you in trouble. They are not always correct. In fact, they're often quite incorrect. And so therefore, you can't always trust them. You have to have real sources like a proper survey or something like that. So anyway, now that I found that pin, I'm super confident that we're in that corner. So I'll get out of this tree in a second, but we're going downhill a little bit, and then you would cut over to the west-northwest like this. So I'll get around this tree, I'll get around the barbed wire. Barbed wire is right ensconced in this little debris mess here. In fact, that tree is basically hanging on the old barbed wire fence. I will hike across the south end, the uphill side of this, to go across, and I will hopefully find the other uphill corner. So there's more of that. I'm now on our side of the barbed wire fence. There's more of it just continuing down the hill. I can almost basically see the bottom corner now. Cool little rock outcroppings, beautiful mixed deciduous and pine trees up on this hillside. It's not crazy steep, and it's gorgeous. This would be a great little hunting parcel, recreational getaway. Definitely not something to build a proper home on. You don't have easy power, you don't have easy road, but you just have to freshen up that right-of-way entry, and then you'd have a great spot to just drive your vehicle back in here and tuck yourself away for a private little getaway. I'm skirting the uphill south boundary right now, and it's super cool. I do hear the road traffic, by the way, from State Highway 30. coming through there, and obviously crossing the Shavertown Bridge, you can hear the road. But I mean, if you didn't have the spring foliage right here, if this was late fall, early winter, you would have a view of the water right now. There, I'm seeing water right through there. I'm still just crisscrossing the lot here. I'm near the top, but there is a little. I've just picked up a old log road that cuts across back behind me. Now that's obviously up above our property there. I'm about on the back line here, so we have the stuff that's down below here. But this is actually another nice little nugget to have a little access to your upper portion. So there's that little trail I just picked up. I was only on it for a few feet. It's going to continue down across our lot and maybe even down to our right-of-way access. But what's neat is that I can actually see a little sign of the New York City land down below. So it's kind of cool. It's not a huge parcel. Your taxes are going to be super low, but you've got no neighbor in front of you, no neighbor to the side of you, reservoir, stone's throw away. And your whole property's fun enough to play on this little hillside. Yes, it's rocky. Yes, it's sloped, but it's pretty neat. This section here is kind of cool. It levels off a bit. I mean, again, it's really rocky. It's not like going to be a lawn, but it does level off a little bit. And then you got all these moss covered rocks, which again, usually indicate a natural springiness. And by the way, I think within the width of this parcel, it's actually really neat. Down below, much more deciduous, much more spring leaf growth already. And then up here, we're in, you know, the percentage of tree species is much more coniferous. So it's not as dense foliage in this uphill section here. Okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about. This is a different one of these little moss covered upland drainage things. And yes, you can see we've got a trickle of fresh water streaming through here. So I was going downhill, but now I'll go back up just to find that top line again and see if I can source this out. Because why not? It's a beautiful day. Might as well be thorough. This little spring is about actually about mid width of the property. So what you could do is, at a minimum, you could, you know, dig yourself just a little trough, get a water pipe in there, and then have a holding tank somewhere down below. And then you could just have gravity fed running water for, you know, obviously non-potable, but you could have a little bit of running water reservoir here. That's our corner, which means that this little trickly thing, this other spring here, is actually on our lot, barely, but it is. And that's also another thing you could utilize. But yeah, this is our bottom corner, and obviously this is super cool, clearly marked where the city land is, because they're very thorough in their operation. They always flag and delineate. So that's gorgeous. There's another trickle of pretty good flowing water here. And again, if you didn't want potable water, at least you could collect some of this and have a basin down here. There's the remains of that first spring we had. So definitely a couple lowland springs here on the lower section of this lot. Pretty amazing, and I'm staying on this lower line now. You know, could be 30 by 15, 30 by 12 section right here. So in theory, you could drive up your right of way and maybe even put a shed or a structure here. You have to clear out a couple of these trees. But yeah, and then it ends at this huge old maple. But you're set off the city boundary by 20, 30 feet. But this looks like it was clearly excavated as an entry spot driveway. So that's pretty amazing. Love to figure this stuff out. Yeah, super, super, super cool. So that is that little flat section I was on. That's maybe 30 by 12-ish. Little mound, that might be stuff that was plowed up to create it. But then there's another kind of a nice little long stretch of flat section here. I would pop a little tent cabin, tent platform, or a little cabin, or a little Amish shed or something. Put your quad and your toys in, and then you could rip around your 2 acres, or just, you know, set up your little camp. And then you've got your freshwater spring just over there. I mean, sounds kind of delightful to me. You've got this little section you could pull up into and drop a tent platform or something recreational. And then you're seeing here, that is skirting the city line in that direction. We had our water spring somewhere over there, and then just basically upland goodness, a couple rock outcroppings, moss covered rocks, mixed deciduous and coniferous trees. Pretty cool slice of the world right there. So that's your right-of-way road behind me. That's your utility easement. I do wonder, I don't know enough about this, but I wonder if you can pull residential or you know, grid power to your little thing right there. Yeah, this is just a little brush hogging here. Clear out some of this light brush, move a stone or two, and then we're out onto the more shared right-of-way that I came up on. Okay, so this is your only real, this would be your only real access issue, is that there is a drainage. Okay, here's your issue. So down here is where our right-of-way comes across. And so the neighbor, they have the right to go up to their property, of course, but you have the right to use this right-of-way to come up into your property here. And all of that was really good. There's that fiber lines there too. But this would take just a bit of engineering to engineer this such that the water drainage in this trough is still appropriate, and you can do your right-hand turn and get into your property. There's your city road right there. There's the, I mean, I'm looking at rowboats right ahead of me. There's the reservoir. Amazing, amazing. And then this is your road in. This is your proper right-of-way road. So just have to slap in a culvert pipe, grade that out, and suddenly you've got amazing access into your little hunting getaway property. All right, just wrapping up this recon. If you're interested in this one, please give me a call. Richard Santos with the Land and Living Team at Keller Williams Upstate New York Properties, 607-222-6867. Richard Santos at kw.com is my email. Please reach out if you're interested in this one. If you have property you're interested in buying, let me know. If it's not this one, let me know. If you have stuff you want to sell, let me know. If you want someone to walk around your woods and check out all your property features and tell you the value and stumble and bumble and find the corners and do all the kinds of stuff I get up to, let me know. That's what I love to do. Love to be thorough, love to figure stuff out in the field. Basically, I want to help the people that want to sell through being transparent, thorough, and detailed, and with quality presentation. And for those that are buying, I want you to know what it's about, so you lose the ambiguity, you lose the uncertainty, you move forward with, you know, confidence, and you know about as much as you can know before you make a big commitment. So all of those things are bundled up into what I try to present. That's what the Land and Living Team is all about. We got a big squad of professionals that are helping me out in this process. Thank you so much. If you like this kind of stuff, please like, follow, and subscribe. Come back for more. Leave comments, leave criticisms. We're open to all of it. And we hope to see you again. Thank you so much, and take care. Bonus footage time. So there's a massive, big gravel parking area there. I'm sure that's for people in the main summer where they're parking there to come and get into their boats and whatnot. I don't know how that's policed, and it might be worth a call to the DEP, but I wonder if you could park there overnight, and then just, you know, if you didn't want to monkey around with driveway access, could you just park there and then hike up and tent in your land? I mean, that might be an option as well. All right, that's it for now. Take care.